So, hello everyone, welcome to episode 0 of our Bowls podcast, Bowls Breakdown, with your hosts Mike and Matthew. I'm Matthew, this is my father Mike. We're doing our first episode today just to kind of give you guys an introduction to what we're going to be doing, what this actually is going to entail for the future, and just kind of give you a brief idea of what this podcast actually is going to be. So first things first, obviously this was your idea. So what is Bowls Breakdown and what are we trying to achieve with this podcast?
Well, we're pretty new into bowls, I suppose. Been involved 3 or 4 years now myself, but bowled as a youngster. In the old days, with the tie and blazer brigade, wasn't it?
Black Bowls.
Yeah, there was no colour, only brown. So I've really enjoyed being involved in bowls now, and there's so many younger people playing at the moment. However, we need more younger people playing. We need to get bowls a bit more exciting, do we? It's still lacking behind other sports, you know. It's slow. It's a long time, so we need to introduce something there. So I thought we were just talking about different aspects of bowls. You know, there's lots more than just bowling in there. We've got some successful bowlers in Wales and in the UK. And those bowlers travel the world these days with everything that's going on in Australia. We've seen the champion of champions in New Zealand, and we see the junior world championships.
Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong, yeah.
So just to kind of sum that up, is this podcast is going to expose the elements of bowls and people's experiences in bowls.
And lots of people have different experiences, don't they? From greenkeepers to companies who assist clubs in managing their greens, from bowls companies who sell merchandise and clothing and bowls. And
obviously, we're going to dive into everything bowls related in terms of who is in the business of bowls. Obviously, everyone knows our first guest is going to be Nicky Jones, who will be talking to us through stuff that he's done over the last 8 months, obviously.
And I'm looking forward to speaking to Nick. He's a character, and he does lots of, already does lots of streaming of live bowls. And maybe we'll talk about what we plan with the streaming later on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a great segue, actually, because obviously our plan is podcasting and live streaming, right? With this,
it is, yeah.
Thing. So we've obviously done one trial live stream, and it seemed to go pretty well. Obviously, we're learning ourselves through making it better time and time again. But so in terms of our live streams and our plan for live streams, do you want to talk to them about how we're going to make bowls a little bit different with our live streams?
Yeah, we just want to visit as many competitions as we can with that. That's club competitions or county competitions or national events, We're going through the process at the moment with Indoor Bowls Council to streamline in Scotland, in Falkirk on the weekend of the 10th for the Junior Under-18 series. If we can get that and be allowed to do that, then that'll be brilliant. That'll be a start for us, We're going to introduce some interview desk.
Yeah.
So we can start interviewing the parents, managers, players. We've even talked about, myself, you, about interviewing players or miking players up live whilst they're bowling. And I think when we did the test streaming, then we had players even in between the games coming over and having a quick chat with us.
Yeah, I mean, what the plan is for the live streams is to bring bowls to the next century, really, and it's still a little bit behind other sports with how things are done. We just want to make it a bit more lively, a bit more fun to watch. Like I said, in-game interviews with managers, parents, people involved with the game. After, like straight away, interviews after the game with certain peoples. We might even do a MVP or player of the match for what we're doing. Guest commentators with people there.
Well, yeah, we've got a couple of plans with the guest commentators. I mean, we've got a couple of people we already have said yes, they're going to come on board. I don't know if you want to announce who they are.
No, we won't do that just yet. We'll hold that off. A little bit of suspense as well, worth it. Yeah, and obviously then the mic'd up, right? The mic'd up's probably the big one for us. I think if that works, having a mic'd up games when you're playing, if we ever get the live stream international events where we can mic up skips and listen to what they talk about when they're, in the head or when they're looking at with the thirds and stuff. Because obviously we miss that now and again. We just want to make it a little bit more fun. A little bit more interesting for people to tune in for 4 hours. It can be a bit of a drag, but
And when we say mic'd up for the game, we're talking about just a couple of ends.
Yeah, it won't be a full game. Obviously, if you get some skips, they don't really like talking a lot, but it'll be 5-6 ends or so for the mic'd up stuff. So yeah, our plan is basically speak to as many different people in bowls, learn their experiences, and also live stream games in a more fun, interactive way. Is the plan moving forward?
Yeah, and we're open to clubs or counties approaching us, and if they want us to assist in any way, then we will.
Yeah, I mean,
where we can, like
we've said it before, right? If we've not got a game, obviously we play ourselves. If we don't have a game on a Saturday and there's a team or a club that are playing and they want to have that experience, then yeah, we're more than happy to go and stream those games for them. Just make it as interesting as possible. And
the other thing for me is it's not just about the good players as well. We've got some good players and we've got some really, really great players lined up for future in the podcast. But it's about the characters in the clubs, So if you've got a club and you've got them characters, give us a shout and we'll come up and we'll have an interview with your characters in your club,
it's just people's experiences in bowls, and that could be anything from brand new players to people who've played, across the world or in the big events in Commonwealth. We've obviously got, without putting names, we've got a few very high-profile Welsh players now and past players that are already agreed to come on the podcast. And just talk their experience with everything they've done, which is going to be just fascinating for us to hear and experience that level through their eyes,
It will be marvellous, and I'm looking forward to that extremely.
So that's basically our podcast / live stream bowls breakdown, right?
It is, yeah.
In a nutshell, really.
Yeah, we can go on, and I think what we need to do is talk about interesting things, keep people interested. So that's what we need to do.
Well, speaking of interesting things, that's a great segue again. You're the king of segue today. I love it. We planned on actually talking about some things today in the podcast, right? It's not just going to be a 10-minute video of us talking about bowls breakdown. So obviously we have just had quite a few things finish this year, and with going off of things like you said, making bowls fun, different, new, I want to bring up this Super Loop bowls. Was it the bowls championship? What's it called? The Ultimate Bowls Championship that had just finished a couple of weeks ago now. Had finished.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? It's different. and I'm sure there'll be some people who like it, and there'll be some people who think it's not for me.
No, I mean, you're going to get a lot of people that think bowls just needs to be standard and stuff. But, you look at all the top players, and I was speaking to a few people over the last few weeks about these top players playing in these competitions, right? You've got some high quality players playing in this competition. So, for those of you that don't know what the Ultimate Bowls Championship, Super Loop Ultimate Bowls Championship is, it's a new way, it's a 5 end event between pairs, 3-wood pairs. Basically, you get 3 points for your lead shot, 3 points for a touch up, and then the score is based off the first 3 shots closest to the jack, right? So you get 10 points for the closest, 5 points for second, and then 3 points for the third closest, right? So you're looking at scores that are like, could be 90 to 40 or 70 to 70, right? So there's quite high scoring. But I did some research on some of the players that played this year. Right, you've got people like Harry Goodwin playing in it, Nick Cahill. Who else has played in it this year? There's quite a few. Alex Marshall. I mean, that's just a name in itself that is massive in the bowls world at the moment. I don't know. I think Aaron Sheriff played in it as well.
I think he did actually. Yeah.
I don't know if he played this year. I'm just double checking the teams here, but.
And when you're going through that, for me, it was the scoring for me at my age can be a little bit difficult to follow, but they put it on automatically on the scoreboard on the telly, so or on YouTube or wherever you're watching it.
Yeah,
I think it's on YouTube actually, isn't it?
It was on YouTube. Yeah, I mean that's kind of obviously where most bowls things go these days now. I mean, bowls is definitely getting more shown on YouTube than anywhere else. You look at Potter's last year, right? Potter's last year was on YouTube.
Yeah,
you look at Champion of Champions in New Zealand, that was on YouTube.
Yeah.
The Hong Kong Junior Indoors was on YouTube, right? So that's kind of why we've based this podcast and live stream on YouTube, because this kind of seems to be the profile of bowls.
Nice plug that as well. Following our
YouTube
Bowls
channel.
Breakdown podcast on YouTube. Please subscribe.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if you are listening and find it interesting, you should subscribe, because there's going to be a lot more coming up. But that Ultimate Bowls Championship, right? It makes me wonder. Obviously, with it being out in Australia, right? And Australia kind of doing all of these new ideas of bowls, right? We talk about it with the Ultimate Bowls Championship, but also the BPL, right? The BPL is one of the most main competitions that your big names play in, right? Your Alex Marshalls, your Sheriffs. Who else played in it this year? I'd have to look this up, but there's loads of people who played in it. Aaron Sheriff played in it. That is another interesting one, right? It's a standard bowls. It's what, seven ends, 2 sets.
Yeah.
Standard bowls scoring, but you get 3 people. It's pairs, 3 woods, but 3 people's, and you're allowed a substitution halfway through, right?
And they play the like the double up point thing, didn't they?
So they do. Yes, they do the what's it called?
It's not a joker, is it?
No, it's power play.
Well done.
Power play.
Well done.
So they power play the ends, right? So that doubles your score. So if you get through, you end up getting 6, right? So that's another way of doing it.
I think the key with this is there's a lot of money being put in it, obviously, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of money in Australia bowls at the moment. I mean, I saw Bowls Australia post on Facebook, right? They posted they've had a record-breaking year. They've had more participation numbers in every single event they've put on. They've just opened up 14 new county governing bodies in New South Wales alone. There's record-breaking. They did an open day of bowls. They had over 1,000 people come in and play.
But when you watch it on YouTube, okay, what you see is a couple of rinks set up. On the side of those rinks, you've got tables with chairs and bars, and you've got so much going on. You've got music being played. Crowds aren't silent, and players are used to that now. So we need to build on that within the UK a little bit, do we?
I mean, definitely. I think you look at the BPL, right? The BPL is massive. Your big names, all of them play in it. They pick teams. There's obviously money involved, and people go and play in it. But it's only played through our winter months, right? So the summer months. Um, you could do something in our summer months in Britain, anywhere in Britain. You could have some. You could have the same. You could have a BPL. You could match with the BPL, right? But do it in Britain for
Yeah.
3 months. They only go for 2 weeks, right? It's 2 weeks, so they do it every couple of months. I think they do like a 2 week cycle, and then they do it every 2 months or so in the summer. So obviously the BPL 21 just finished, I believe, or 20 BPL 20.
You've been doing all that as a youngster. You've been all that research for me, haven't you?
Oh, it's great. I mean, there we go. BPL 21 now starts in February, end of February. So BPL 20 just finished, I think, last month. And they're doing another one in February then. But you look at some of the names on here. Nick Brett played this year. He was out there. Paul Foster was there this year. Catherine Rednall. A lot of these players, and they were talking about it on one of the streamings they did. I think they have so many international players playing in the BPL.
And not only they're men and women
Yeah,
and playing together and against each other. It's great that it's inclusive.
and the other crazy part and the fun part about this is I know they do pairs, but if there's a tie, they win one set each. All three of them play the tiebreaker.
Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah. All three of them then play the tiebreaker.
And that's going to excite youngsters, isn't it? That's what's going to bring youngsters to watch bowls.
Yeah.
And then to start playing bowls.
You look at it in other sports, right? And obviously, I'm going to pick golf, being in the golf background and stuff. But you look at like the PJ Tour, Break Off Tour of Live, right? They do walk up music. They do DJs after the events, or after just the days of the events, 3 days. It's just like massive. There's drinking, partying, there's music, and
Yeah.
these professionals have to adjust to that. But it's making it more fun, right? Not everyone in bowls is going to want to sit there for 4 hours, not saying anything, not allowed to cheer, not allowed to show expressions or emotions, and
And we'll bring in that we play for the German Municipal Bowls Club, do we? And last year we played Bargoed, and we built up a great. There's a couple of teams we built up a great relationship with Merthyr West End, Bargoed, boys from Millwood. I'm probably missing a couple there, like just not coming to my head. But the boys in Bargoed, when they played with us, we had music going. We had our faithful crowd on the side, and they loved it. They brought out the best bowling in them because they were bowling and winding up our crowd themselves, were they? And that's what you don't. Did I say don't then? That's what you want.
that's what you want. Yeah, that's what you want.
That's what you want, yeah.
You can always respect people that don't want to have that kind of atmosphere, right? People, they just want to play bowls and just enjoy the bowls, not have to have that atmosphere. I get that, right? And people can absolutely have that opinion, right? But if you want bowls to continue to be a sport that is bringing in new people, you've got to change it up. You just have to.
I totally agree. I go back to when I was a youngster. I played darts. Darts in the pub. It was quiet, silent, and this was team darts, And now you look at darts now, and and darts is exciting. People are there to enjoy themselves. They hardly even watch the darts.
Yeah, but then you look at obviously what has brought more attention to darts. You look Littler, right? The 17-year-old superstar who's just had a year to be put in the history books.
Superb.
But you've got kids that get involved, but we don't see that because we're not putting enough exposure to it, right?
No.
And it's not like you can have that crowd that's always engaging and cheering and having that almost biasness to them, right? You want to watch good bowls, but you also are going to have favoritisms, right? You just need it in sport.
We talk about youngsters. We've got the British Isles Junior Champion. I won't mention his name. People out there will know who I'm talking about, because maybe we'll get him on podcast one day with his dad or granddad. But we've got great bowlers.
Yeah, there's loads. I mean, but not just in obviously Wales where we are based, but in Britain alone, you've got so many. We're going to actually start speaking about one right now, because I want to bring up obviously the Champion of Champions. You mentioned earlier in New Zealand, we had Ross and was it Kate as well? Bad on names here.
Yeah. So he's having a little look on his laptop, doing his research.
We don't want to leave anyone out. Here we go. It should give me the go to. While we wait for this to load, obviously, Champion of Champions is people who won their singles, right?
It is indeed, yeah.
International singles. They went through to play Katie Thomas. I knew I was right. So Katie and obviously Ross Owen went over to play in the Champion of Champions. We will mention them both. Katie struggled a little bit with. It looked quite weird. Did you watch any of the games?
I did. She played early in the tournament against the eventual winner. Actually,
she did.
Yeah, she did. And I got to say, Katie's from a little town down west called Whitland, and I was brought up not far from that in a bit of bigger township. I'm only saying that with tongue in cheek. Called Larne. So lots of friends in Whitland.
I don't know. She played.
So well done, Kate.
She played well. She only lost by 1 or 2 shots at most. Like almost all the time. It just seems like couldn't get over the end. I mean, she did only end up winning 1 game, losing 6. But her shots for 74, shots against 88. So she's only 14 shots away.
Conditions were good out there. I think it was really windy out there.
It was windy, and the green looked a little bit strange. It looked a bit slow to me.
I don't know.
Obviously, and especially our indoor season. I mean, this is during our indoor season now, so a lot of those are going to be playing indoors, so going straight to outdoors.
Yeah.
From playing a few indoor games.
Didn't they have a few bad days and they had to go indoors?
That was Hong Kong. That was.
That was where?
That was in Hong Kong, I thought.
I was in Hong Kong, was it? I thought it was in New Zealand as well.
No, they had a delay. They had a delay in day 2 or day 3. Okay. During the group stages, they had a delay.
To even get there is a great achievement, to be fair. And to go out to New Zealand to play must have been a tremendous experience.
She was close to kind of getting through, to be fair to her. I mean, those 6 games she lost, she could have easily one or two shots go away, and that's a different story altogether.
I don't think. I think it was quite close between the eventual winner in the end. I think in the early days. I think it was the lady from Tonga.
The lady from Tonga did end up winning. Millie, they called her. She was a good bowler. I watched a couple of her games. They streamed a couple of games, and she just seemed to. When you watch those people that bowl, and they just kind of, you think that they're not actually thinking about it, and they're just throwing words down.
That's a bit like me.
Yeah,
without the end product.
She kind of had that to her. Millie did. She looked like, even though she was just throwing the words down, there was just like every shot she played seemed to just come off for it. She was unbelievable.
Yeah,
but
she was.
Well done, Katie. That was a very good showing. It was close to being a completely different story for you. But obviously Ross Owen was a little bit of a different story on the men's side for us.
Mm-hmm.
By God, he played well. I think they only streamed two of his games. We watched them both, Lloyd and I, and he just seemed to. We ended up watching for the first time probably against Ken when he played Ken.
We did it.
Pretend.
And that was in the Finchley Cup. And I don't know if the Finchley Cup is what gets you there. If you win the Finchley Cup, gets you to be the champion of champions.
Might be. But when he played Ken, he has this bowl on the jack, cover.
Yeah.
It's like he's forcing you to make the shots, and he played very similar like that in New Zealand, right? There was a few times he played shots, and you're thinking, there's a bit of room there, but he would always play that shot that he knew made the opponent have to beat him on the draw then, and not many could beat him on the draw in it. Obviously, he ended up losing to the eventual winner in the semi-finals.
He was, yeah.
Was the semi-finals, and then he ended up winning bronze.
Yeah.
Which was
a great achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that.
You were talking about earlier on about him, the way he plays and covering. We watched him against Ken and going back to that game, and Ken had only just come back from holidays, and he didn't have the best of days. However, Ken's best end, he was holding 3, and Ross put a 1 in, draws the jack, and picks up 3 or 4.
4, I think, yeah,
to win the game. It's just like, what do you do?
I mean, but Ken said himself, even Ken's best, I don't think Ken would have.
No,
Ken
was
his
best.
So, but what the interesting thing is, they talked about with Ross, and for those of you that have seen him bowl, he's got a very unique delivery.
Yeah, it's just. I wish I could deliver that way and have the end product, mind.
It doesn't look your typical bowls delivery, but he just doesn't seem to miss.
No.
His grips are very sideways.
Lit on the side, yeah.
And then his back leg tucks underneath, and he almost kind of like crosses over a little bit, and it's a very interesting delivery.
We've had a chat recently about pre-shot routines,
Yeah.
And obviously from recently doing a coaching course, they talk about a time capsule. Okay, so but with you in golf, you do a pre-shot routine. I watch Ross, and from the time he picks up the wood to delivery, he is bang on 7 seconds every time.
Yeah.
Same pre-shot time capsule routine. Exactly the same.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of learning there for young people.
Yeah, his delivery, even though his delivery technique isn't the most standard,
yeah,
it's so similar every time he bowls his wood. It's one of those that you want to take snippets of.
But it hasn't got to be the perfect action delivery, has it?
No.
We talked about this within golf with Jim Furyk.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Furyk probably had one of the worst looking swings from a golfer, but he
They,
was successful.
when he was bowling, the first game they streamed, they actually compared his delivery to Jason Greenslade, an old Welsh international, now plays for Guernsey.
Right, okay.
Guernsey. I think it's Guernsey.
I'm not sure.
I think so.
I'll take you with
He has moved, but I think it's Guernsey. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but they said that he had a very similar delivery to that as well. And I haven't seen Jason Greenslade bowl. I can faintly remember watching them. They did do a stream when they did some indoor championship last year, and he had a couple of games streamed then, and it was quite similar. But I don't think that they ever bowled together really. So it's just something Ross has just found to work.
And why change it? Because it's successful.
Yeah.
We
all know how good that man can bowl, and it's.
And there's a few out there. We're lucky there. We're a few out there, and we need those individuals to inspire those youngsters coming through.
Well, you just look at kind of the ratio. I know obviously all the international teams have now been posted. They've all been picked.
Well, the men's team are still waiting. There's a squad, and they've got another trial. So,
well, the under 25s have been talked about, but you look at the trialers for the men's and the under 25s. A lot of those under 25s are in the men's trial, like a lot of them.
Yeah,
you've got a lot of people in Wales at the moment that are 30, 35 or younger, who are looking to be the main driving people for Wales.
And we need that. We need that in Wales. But we need that format to be more exciting, do we? I suppose when you play in indoor at county or regional level, we got 6 rinks. There's lots of talk, people saying that we should have 4, but when you start coming down, you're diluting all the time, and we need a bigger pyramid, not a smaller pyramid.
Yeah, you want more choice, right? You want to have more options. You want to have more development. That's kind of, there should always be a what's next, right? And especially as a bowls club that are producing good players, they play in your championship team that play all these big competitions. But I know the next step for them then would be Wales, right?
Yeah.
But how do you go from club straight into Wales and not look at maybe having a middle ground in that?
Yeah, my experience is I've seen one club particular, and that's Merthyr West End. Yeah, I'm friends with Ian Staff, and they've done great stuff with Merthyr, haven't they? They've got a number of young players, boys and girls, who've been brought up in Merthyr West End. They've been successful. They've gone indoors, and they're now representing Wales on a regular basis. So they have set a standard there, but more clubs need to try to follow that.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to say, sorry, Matthew, is I recently went with some youngsters from our club to the Welsh Indoor Bowls Development Days. And I will mention a great bowler was there helping them out, is Amy Williams. And she was superb. Absolutely. The way she dealt with them youngsters was inspiring. And that's the type of people that we need to be involved, She was there with a number of the people. There were some under 25 and senior Welsh ladies who were helping. Roger, Harvey, the team manager, was there, and so it was great to see. And we brought young Leah up, who was only 7.
7-year-old Leah.
And she was inspired by Amy. So that's the way we need to go. We talk about the development and how we work and what we need to do.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to those development days, right? You've got your squads. Like, again, Australia, prime example for it. Australia have their main squad and then a secondary squad, right? The people are on the cusp. The people who've had the trials didn't make the team. They're not just thrown away till next year. They're put into that development squad then that have obviously not playing the big international events, but they're playing friendlies. They're developing with the team. They're getting the attention of the main team, right? I know it's hard when you don't have numbers, but there's a lot of promise there in this sport moving forward. There's so much you can do more. You know, there's bowls is never going to go backwards now if everyone does their part, keeps the keeps the engagement going with youngsters.
Yeah.
It's only going to move forward.
We're developing a bit of an academy ourselves, and I've already, through again, thanks to Ross, we got a contact within Caerphilly because Caerphilly do a schools festival of bowls. So for me, the next step is to try and have a game against the Caerphilly schools against a sort of an academy squad built up from everybody or any youngsters within our area.
Yeah.
And play against each other.
Well, and obviously Wales has just put bowls on the GCSE PE curriculum.
It
That's
has
a massive
indeed.
plus
Yeah.
this year. So obviously moving forward, we're going to see a lot of, hopefully more people.
Yeah.
Pick
Well, as a club, we've already linked in with one school, Archbishop McGrath School, are going to give their pupils an opportunity of playing bowls as part of the GCSE curriculum.
Yeah, I think it doesn't need to be a big thing. It just gives them a chance to do it now. And we obviously did it last year in a couple of primary schools, right? And we picked up seven or eight.
Yeah. And it's been successful. We were lucky. We've got, as you said, seven junior players. So we keep going again. We go again in February, March. Do it again and see what comes out of it.
Okay. So in terms of, obviously we've spoken a lot about kind of having these guests on, like the people that we want to talk to about these experiences, and we don't know a lot about bowls ourselves.
No, and for the people out there, we're not trying to pretend that we know a lot about bowls. And our live streaming commentary will not be any expert. Hopefully the people that we got coming in to be part of that will be good.
All for fun, isn't it? That's the thing. You don't need to be an expert to do these things. You just need to have the platform and be okay with sharing other people. Like you said, we've got so many strong guests coming on to this podcast already. A load of people that we have already mentioned. To give you a little bit of a reason to come back for the episodes is we do have Welsh internationals. We do have high quality
world champions.
We've got one of the biggest voices in Welsh bowls for many years, who is now...
Well, I say world bowls, not Welsh bowls.
World bowls, yeah. Coming on. We've got several people who do the background of bowls, not quite playing, but greenskeeping stuff, running clubs, running businesses, have tried to do what we've started.
We're even now hoping to have one with bowls and babies.
Oh yeah, that is that is one on the cards there. So we have got quite a few guests already. So there's going to be many podcasts coming up with so many different people at so many different levels with so many different experiences. It's just going to be nice to sit down, have a friendly chat with. Nothing professional. We don't do professional in this household much, do we? We just want to expose bowls, have a chat, and experience the world of bowls with friends and new faces, really.
Yeah, and if you've got any suggestions, can they message us on YouTube?
or a Facebook page.
Yeah,
We'll
on our
comment
Facebook page, yeah.
Or if you know us, message us directly.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to be here and think we know what we're doing and we've got it all covered. But you know, we're always open to new things and new experiences. And you know, if anyone in the bowls world is interested in coming on and has a story to tell, you know, we're not going to say no to anyone really, because that's not what this is about. It's not about the best players or the middle ground. It's about everyone in bowls, old, young, new. You know, it doesn't matter. Um, so in terms of our guests, are we going to mention any names for our guests? Do you want to?
I know you're very precious. You don't really want to let it out, but
well,
I think it'd be nice to a couple of names.
We'll throw a
Just
couple.
a
Obviously, episode 1, Nicky Jones, the king of live streaming. You know, he's done a lot over the last few, well, I say few, 6, 8 months, really going to places, live streaming these games. Again, someone that we'd want on our live streams because he's such a fun commentator.
He's a character.
He's a hell of a character. Episode 1, we got the duo of Billy Flynn and Jamie Flynn, father-son.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
A viewpoint from a dad of a young bowler, going from the age of 6. What's he now? 16 now. So last 10 years.
And he is going to captain Wales in January.
Indeed he is. So we'll be talking about his thoughts on that or experience, depending on whether we can sit down with him.
Well, we may as well mention the big one for, obviously, talent in bowls this year in Wales. We do have Ross Owen, who is...
Yeah, Ross has agreed. Yeah, with a number of others, great bowlers. So we're looking forward to speaking to Ross.
Ross will be... I've just got to ask him about his delivery. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to know how did he come up with it, and how does it work for him? Because it is just generally such an interesting delivery.
You're in thought about how he came to that delivery.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah. That would be my probably my first question to him. What made you come up with that delivery, and how does it work? Because it just looks like it shouldn't be as functional as it is for him. It's crazy. And then obviously probably the last one we'll mention, because I do want to save.
Yeah, I don't want to mention too many.
You know, in terms of what we've actually got planned, you know, Absolute Grass would probably be the other one I'd mention. A lot of people who listen to this podcast, if they're in clubs around the Bridgend area, I know Absolute Grass takes care of our green.
Although I still haven't the okay from Absolute Grass, so I have asked a certain member of our club to ask him.
We're hoping he'll come on,
but I'm really hoping he will come on.
That is one of our, you know, I think they do 18 or 19 bowls greens, maybe even more than that now.
Yeah. And you know what? There are a couple of companies out there. Absolute Grass is just one that does our club, so that's why we've asked them. But if there's another company out there who wants to talk to us, then yeah, we'll talk to them as well. A lot of work goes into greens, isn't it? A lot of work, and
so much.
They're not always appreciated as much as they should be.
No,
Mind you, I played on some greens. I'm not going to mention that maybe they need to contact Grass or any other company. So so that's good. And we're off to Scotland.
We are.
We're off in a few weeks now. Looking forward to going up there.
You know, one of our good family friends will be playing in that, so we decided to go up and watch. We know obviously that Billy Flynn. We know Billy. We play with him indoors. So there's a couple of patrol,
but young Adam is getting his first cap.
First cap.
Yeah.
Good friend of ours.
Good friends of ours, Adam Pritchard. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to watching them. But there's some great, you know, we just talked about two youngsters there. Lots of other boys and girls who are going to be playing in that. And I was lucky enough to go and watch a couple of the development days where they picked the selection team from. And they were bowling really well. So yeah, to be
He
fun.
impresses me. Obviously, we ended up streaming the quarterfinals of the Open Triples at Port Talbot, right? So they the winners of those got picked for Wales, and I remember someone walked up to me from the club and who was watching the live stream and said, "You made me laugh. Billy was bowling well." He said, "Oh, Billy's on fire. He's on fire." And I was like, "He was."
I think it was Reese who said that.
Reece, yeah, it was Reece, yeah. And he was just bowling. Every shot Martin was calling from him, he just seemed to bowl and pick up shot. It was unbelievable. I mean, you were there, you saw it, but he's such a quality bowler, as they all are, and it's only going to be more and more impressive the more and more we can get people involved in this sport.
His head is years older than his body. He's so mature for his age at 16 and experience around the game itself. So, and actually, I found a couple of nice old little photos. I might when we put that out on the podcast. I got a couple of little photos that we're going to add into the. Sorry, Billy.
Baby father, I reckon. Anyway, so yeah, that is going to wrap it up for episode 0, I believe.
I think so. I think we've. I don't even know how long we've been talking for.
I don't know.
But it's great. Thank you. If you've linked in and watched on YouTube, thank you very much. Please subscribe on YouTube, and if you can like us on our Facebook.
And I just want to say thank you to everyone that's already supported us. We haven't really got started for a couple of weeks after we mentioned us doing it, but we've had so many people support us, push it, help us through it all, give us ideas, agree to come onto the podcast. I mean, we haven't even done anything yet, and we've already lined up like 8-9 guests.
Indeed.
We've got 150 followers almost on Facebook. We've got over 50 subscribers already on YouTube, and that in itself can take months and months after time. So, we want to obviously say thank you to everyone that has supported us so far. Hopefully they continue to support us. And
we had a team of 3, mate, don't we?
Well, we're a team of more than 3, I think. There's
a few. So?
Yeah, there's a few in the background that are going to help us out.
Well, of course we have, because or the guests or the guys who've said they're going to come and.
Well, you got your guest commentators that said that when they're free, they're more than happy to come on. Yeah. Obviously, Lloydie in the background's helping us with equipment and the tech side of it all.
Which